Hi everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Power of Knowing Forum's Regenesis Talks, where we are on the 125th episode today, and we are talking on the discussion topic of advancement, achieving higher positions. We have the honor of having Rajiv, Thomas, and Sunil joining us to discuss on this topic. Without further ado, bringing Thomas, Rajiv, and Sunil onto the dais to discuss the topic. Over to you, Rajiv. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Rajiv. Hi, Sunil. Over.
Hi, thank you. Thank you,
Hi,
Prem.
Prem.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Prem.
hi. Over to you, Thomas.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Prem. Welcome, everyone, to another insightful session of our LinkedIn Live podcast. Today, we're taking a look at what it takes to achieve higher positions within your organizations or within your industry or wherever it is that you are, whether it's promotions to senior executive roles or even board memberships. I'm Thomas Welsh, and I'm joined by my fantastic colleagues here in India, Prem, Rajiv, and Sunil. Combined, we have over 130 years of experience as successful managers, executives, and directors. Our mission is to help you unlock your full potential and achieve everything you're capable of being, and that of your organization as well. Our primary focus is on helping managers, executives, and directors already earning 100K to reach their first $1 million, and for organizations already making at least 3 million profit to move through to 10 million and $50 million in the next 3 to 5 years. But having said all that, we believe that everyone deserves to be wealthy, healthy, and have fabulous relationships with the people and the world around them. That's why we offer free training to get you started on this Regenesis journey. This LinkedIn Live is part of our new condensed 30-minute format designed to deliver powerful content in a bite-sized session. We're going to explore the three key pillars of a life well led: your relationships, your wealth, and your health. So let's get started with advancement, achieving higher positions. We'll cover three main areas which we think are crucially important. Number one, advancing your thinking. Number two, advancing your action. And number three, crucially, if you're going to look for more earnings and more income for your organizations, advancing your value. So, Sunil, can you take us in, please?
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. We are discussing very, very important topics, and let us start with advancing your thinking. So, as the topic itself has the clarity that we are talking regarding two words. The first is thinking. The second is to advance it. And I will say the third is that how this advanced thinking helps in your personal growth, in the organizational growth, or advance your position, advance your monetary power, advance your happiness. So, this is the whole motto of this topic. So, when we talk regarding thinking, what does it mean? I personally feel that when we talk regarding thinking, this is questioning yourself, taking appointment with yourself, thinking that whatever we are doing, are we doing in right way? Is there another way to do it? Because we all know that when your mind is full of assumptions, conclusions, and beliefs, it has no penetration. It just repeats past impressions. So thinking is very, very important. Wherever you are, you must take appointment with yourself. You must find out your relevance at that particular position, in that particular situation. So thinking is basically talking to of your own soul, talking, taking appointment with yourself and asking question to self. So in any organization, wherever you are working, you have to ask question that whatever you are doing, are you adding value in your organization? Do you find yourself as making your employer a valuable offer for which they pay you? Or do you feel they owe you a salary for the job you do? So these are the questions you have to ask. How does your work contribute to your organization's fundamental purpose and vision? Because the whole purpose of your presence is to add value in and contribute in the organization's purpose, organization visions, organization's mission. So you have to ask this question to yourself. How do you impact others, means your family members, your friends, your colleagues, society at large? How are you investing in yourself to become more valuable as a manager, executive, or directors? What legacy do you want to leave in your lifetime? So these are the basic questions you have to ask. And believe me, each and every questions will put you in a deep thought. You will start thinking. You will start adding more values. You will start thinking that what next we have to do. So that is the power of this thinking. That is the power of, when you think, you define your action plan. And when you define your action plan, you act on this, then you grow. And then you become a better manager, you become a better executive, you become a better leader, you become a better human being. And wherever you are, I always say, wherever you are, you will add value. You will find that you are adding value in your presence. And when you are doing this, apart from your monetary gain, apart from other things, you are ensuring that, yes, I am adding value here. So this is the power of those thought process. Thomas, over to you for the next topic.
Thank you so much, Sunil. What you've said is just so true, isn't it? It's the realization that we, all of us, are the power in our own lives. And what we do with the only thing we've got total control of, which is our mind, is absolutely crucially important. And I think some of the issues you opened up for us there are just a fabulous start to this whole conversation. Well, if we've got the mind starting to go in the right direction, I love this idea of making an appointment with myself. I think that's a great way to describe how you need to set aside proper time for thinking. You sit quiet. Some people call it sitting for ideas or sitting with one's thoughts. But I love the appointment of making an appointment to do just whatever it is I need to do with my mind at that particular point in time. And as you say, the thoughts you create about serving others and creating value in the world make you more valuable. And ultimately, I believe, and I know the people I've worked with who have been on high salaries have been those sorts of people. They automatically think about how to create value for others. So let's move on to the next logical step, which I guess is step 2 would now be advancing your action. So, okay, if you do the thinking, I have a little saying, which is up here for thinking, down there for dancing. And the lesson of that is your feet don't know what to do until you know how to do it in your mind. So that's the learning process that takes place. We don't train our feet to dance, we train our mind to dance. And as Sunil mentioned, elevating your thinking is key to increasing your value and salary. So what actions to take? Well, first and foremost, and I would say this, wouldn't I? Get started with Regenesis. I spent a lifetime working on this, and we've spent a lot of time today and every day giving this to as many people as we can in the world and many organizations as we can in the world. It's like a light layer of activity that guides you in a continuous kind of renewal and refreshing of your life and your work and your organization. And if you are thinking at the same time, you can guide that towards value creation, and you can guide that towards creating more revenue and profit for the organization, and ultimately benefits for every employee and every customer, and even our families outside. Everybody begins to benefit. So how do we make you and your organization more valuable is a key task that we take on, we help you with when you join Regenesis. So do get started. It doesn't cost anything. Just contact us and get in and get the model and learn how to start applying it. Once you're started, we can help you in other ways. But if you don't start, we can never help you. And you're going to be missing out on such a lot. It's called Regenesis for a reason, because it causes a renewal and a regeneration of what you're doing. Number 2, you could visit our website, regenesisworks.com, and download the free guide. It's in the resources section of the website. 100 ways to increase your salary is packed with practical ideas and tips to boost your personal net worth. It'll also add more value to the organization. And if the organization's got more revenues and more cash at hand, well, it's reasonable that everybody shares a piece of that, isn't it? So engage with colleagues across different teams. Tell them about what you're doing. Find out how you can serve them better and how they can help you. And just having that conversation, and this is something we deal with in Regenesis, is just one of the many like things we can do to make our organization work better. It's surprising how many times one department in an organization will do stuff for another department and do it in such a way that it doesn't quite work. And so everybody starts developing workarounds, and all these workarounds take time and frustration and stress, and ultimately they also waste money. So that's no good to anybody, because not only is it wasting the organization's money, it's wasting the potential money you could have as a manager or an executive or a director too, or an employee. So everybody loses out when that's going on. So there's a small thing we can do. And you can also take action. You can do things like take proactive steps to design how your team's work and possibly other teams' work can be made more valuable. The simplest way is to have short sessions where you can begin to map out what I call your core processes. What are the key strings of tasks that you do in your team to create the outturns, the outputs, and the outcomes you are responsible for creating? Are those chains of activity the most efficient and the most streamlined that they could be? We talked a bit about this last week on streamline. But it is important. It's just a very practical thing. And it's not rocket science. It's about getting out a piece of paper, maybe a pencil, and beginning to sketch out what you think the core processes are. If you've got the kind of title of it wrong, it won't go anywhere. So you might need another label on it. And then you'll find gradually you learn how your organization works. And one of the things I picked up practically in a number of management sessions, if you can see it, and if other people can see it, it's much, much easier to understand. So a diagram of the steps in your process to build the value that you create, and perhaps even the value chain that you contribute to in the wider organization, could be massively more valuable for the organization. And here's another thing that I learned along the way, which is you can also take action, something I do quite a lot of, to research your organization's competitors and build a network to discover new ways you can create value in what you do, because you do learn things by just reading what they're doing and looking at their ideas. And more than that, you can also look at non-competing organizations. And this is something I learned from the great marketer and businessman, Jay Abraham. He suggests doing this deliberately and adapting and adopting ideas foreign to your sector, because often that allows you to break new ground and make new discoveries, or discover a radical reinvention of a way of doing a thing that's much, much better than the competition. All of this would add enormous value. So there's just some very simple actions any of you can begin to take and encourage your team to take to begin to find out. So, as I said, do get started with Regenesis. It guides you on that whole continuous renewal path. Go to our website. Can't do anything else. Download the free document, or engage with colleagues in different teams, or design your team's work, or reach out and research your competitors and even non-competing organizations. Look for ideas. It's all about creating value, taking action to create the value. And it's amazing how much your organization begins to appreciate that. So let's talk a little bit more about that. And I'd like to hand over now to Rajiv. I think you've got a final chapter in this particular subject that's really, really important.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Thomas. I think both you and Sunil made a very excellent pitch for Regenesis, and I will carry that forward because you must know how you are advancing your value, because that's the key. Because if you are not able to understand and appreciate how you are advancing the value uh, for yourself and for the organization, you will not be able to appreciate the contribution your team is making into the progress of the organization. So you must understand and know that how much value you and your team is creating for the organization annually. And even if you don't have the exact numbers, make a reasonable estimate, because nobody is asking you to give financial numbers. It's basically an estimation which you can work on, and you have to you know uh, practice, because that is where you have to make sure that your team also feel elated, and they are feeling motivated to know these numbers. So this is a very critical practice for successful people, and that is what we teach in Regenesis. We give you all the tips which you should follow, where you can always enhance your value within the organization. Then I think the next point, which is very important, is how to create a monthly contribution report. Because if you are very smart, you are intelligent, but you are the only one who knows in the room that you are intelligent, it doesn't make sense unless you present it, unless you actually tell people that how you are contributing to the organization. So track the extra value you created last month, estimate the value for the next month, and also calculate the cumulative value for the year and since the beginning of the year. Since the beginning of your employment itself. So that can actually uh, lead you to uh, giving impact, which is going to be a game changer for you. Because if you are calculating the cumulative value since the beginning of your employment, and then you are actually highlighting that part, so that can actually lead to you highlighting within the organization what is the value you are actually as a team contributing to the growth of the organization. So I would further give you some ideas, because to envision this the future and the identifying of the ways to create even more value, you need to work on the skilling of your team. You need to work on exceeding the expectation of you and your organization from you. And also you must actually work on building relationships, so that you are able to present yourself in the right spirit within the organization. And of course your own visibility and branding is also very important and critical. How you are actually taking initiative, how you are actually yourself planning projects within the organization and leading those projects. So that leads to a lot of adaptability and resilience. And also so you can do some strategic initiatives around you to set goals to move forward. So one thing you must remember: you cannot see and advance your own value, neither can others. The more you can make others an offer they can't refuse, the more likely you are to secure better opportunities and higher salaries. So that is where I think you need to elevate your talk. You need to elevate your success factor, and let people understand and appreciate you, and automatically your value within the organization goes up. Because if you are a good leader, if you are actually giving them right kind of direction, nothing can stop you. And that is what we give you. We give you all the inputs from the Regenesis, and we actually can tell you how you can actually advance your value uh, in a very systematic way. And that's what we are all talking about. So I'm sure you will have got the idea of how you can actually work on your own self and take it forward. So over to you, Thomas.
Okay, thanks, Rajiv. And I think across everything that you both said, there's some really powerful thoughts in here. Obviously, the key to advancement is going to be creating a value many times greater than your cost. That's the absolute key here. And if you can gradually build a picture that's realistic, it's got proper numbers in, that represents the worth of what you do, and you can share that with your employer, and you can show how year on year you help your team create yet more value and come up with better ideas that will create even more value. They'll soon get the impression that you're a person worth knowing, and more than that, you're a person that's worth paying more to, especially if you can help them with something yet to come, but for which you have clearly envisaged. So you spent the time doing the thinking, you're willing to do the action, and you've got a track record of successfully taking action that stretches back over time. And now you're going to them and making that as an offer. And something Sunil said at the beginning, which is, are you out there making an offer of value so an employer wants to have you in their team because they know it's a good investment? Or are you stuck in a somewhat kind of older mode of thinking, which is you've got yourself a job, the employer offered you a job for which they owe you a salary. Now, I know which of those two is going to be going somewhere. The people that are fast rising, in other words, they work hard at being creative and adding value, and they communicate that, both the actual value that they have created, so they create this kind of feeling of trust and reliability, and the potential value if they've done even more thinking going into the future to look at what other things could be done. And there have been so many good ideas in today's presentation that I would encourage you to just take that on and begin to start doing it today. You don't need to do anything more than to start. And I guess that's what we're saying to you with Regenesis. Just start. Make contact with one of us, and for goodness sake, get the Regenesis description of what it is. We'll happily share it with you. And many people find that they can just do it themselves. They can just start. And once you're started, you may decide, this is good stuff. I want to do more, and I want a bit more help. And we do help from the tiniest increment to up to quite significant help. So do be confident. Do make contact. And all of this leads us to the core of what we do at Regenesis. Our mission is to help managers, executives, and directors earning, in the first instance, 100K to reach their first $1 million, and organizations with 3 million profit to scale up from maybe 10 million to 50 million in the next 3 to 5 years. However, our ultimate dream is for everyone, every manager and every person to be wealthy, healthy, and have fabulous relationships with the people and the world around them. And I think that's the purpose of life. That's the goal of life, really, is to do the best we can, to be the best version of ourselves in the best organizations that we can create. We offer free training, as I say, to get you started. For those ready to take action towards their dream outcomes and that first 100K, well, we provide that too. We provide affordable starter training backed by triple money-back guarantees and all the things you'd expect. We don't want you to be putting yourselves at risk. We want you to be successful. And if you're in a bigger organization or in charge of a larger organization or a bigger team, we provide larger organizations with the ability to run Regenesis independently, to do it for themselves in-house. We don't intend there to be any downside here. Our biggest wish is to provide you with massive value at every point of contact with us. Our goal is to create a world where everyone and every organization realizes their full potential. So don't miss out. These offers are first come, first served, and spots always fill up fast in every month. So do reach out. Just visit any of our LinkedIn profiles and ask for free Regenesis just to get started. Personally, you can find me at linkedin.com/the Thomas Welsh. It's easy. And you can find CS Rajiv, Bajaj, or Sunil Kumar online as well. Just go and look and make that contact with us. And yeah, I think that's where I want to stop, really. Sunil, anything to add?
Yes, thanks, Thomas. So that is the today's session. That is advancement, achieving higher position, higher value, achieving greater height, And we all know, I always talk in my session that the third eye is very, very important for everybody's life in any organization or for individuals. I have come across a line when Elon Musk was just explaining that he was telling that I think it is very important to have a feedback loop. It is important to have a feedback loop where you are constantly thinking about whatever you have done and how you could do it better. So what that we add value there as a third eye. So that feedback eye, we act as a feedback eye. So remember the journey to success, what we are discussing today, that starts from thinking, that starts from the actionable steps, and then continuously adding value. So there are three things: thinking, actionable steps, and continuously adding value. So we here at Regenesis help you to think better, because thinking is a first step, and we all know that thinking is having 7 steps. There are 7 types of thinking, and each thinking is having their own uniqueness, and that is required, and we can't neglect any of them. So as a leader, as a successful entrepreneur, as a successful director, as a successful CEO, you must understand that each type of thinking is very, very useful, but you have to use those thinking in different circumstances, in different situations. But you must have that broadened thought process. You must you must adopt all those thinking process: critical thinking, analytical thinking, convergent thinking, divergent thinking. All those thinking are required. But what regenesis will help? Regenesis will help to equip yourself, to prepare yourself, to broaden your thought process, start thinking in all those on all those thinking process, and that is having their own pro and cons, that is having their own situational value. So we will teach you how those thinking should be applied at your personal life, in your professional life, at your work front, at your in your organization. And your leader, each and every manager should start thinking in that direction. The second step will be actionable step. As Thomas has rightly said, until unless you take action, nobody can help you. So we are here to support you. We are here to guide you. We are here to take the feedback from you. We are here to I will say push you to do that action. And believe me, if you will start thinking, if you will take the action, this value addition will definitely happen. That is the outcome of that. So the first important thing is you have to follow this process, and that process is start thinking in broader direction, thinking in broader view. All type of thinking is important. You should not limit yourself in one directional thought process, and we will help you how to develop that thought process. So I will request you all that wherever you are, in whatever position you are, we are on a mission. We want to help you. Please join Regenesis, and we are hungry to add value in your life. Over to you, Rajiv ji.
Thank you, Sunil, for a very passionate appeal to join Regenesis. And let me tell you, this is going to be a life-changing moment for you. So thank you for joining us. Until next time, stay motivated, stay focused, and keep advancing. The great lesson is for all of us: you become what you think about most of the time. So we would encourage you to think on self and be focused on your self goals, and we will help you achieve those. Thank you very much. Over to you, Prem.
Thanks, Rajiv, Thomas, and team. Wonderful session here today we had, and our session for next week on the Regenesis Talks is about, we are running a session on income maximizing revenue over expenditure in real time is our next topic on the 7th of August at 6:30 p.m. on the Regenesis Talks. We will join back on and discuss on the topic with Rajiv, Sunil, and Thomas giving their insights on this topic. With that, we would like to conclude our show for today. And thank you for joining us. We are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We hope that the discussion was valuable and the podcast makes important part of our journey so far. We have completed the 125th podcast today. And our tomorrow's topic is physiology of persuasion, engaging your audience subconsciously at 6:30 p.m. again. Hope to see you. Good day. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you,
Bye
Prem.
bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.